This video and hundreds more like it available on freePhotoshopVideoTutorials.com. In this video, we're going to learn how to create a ray of light in your photos so you can add more impact to your photos. Now, this technique will work depending on what type of photo you have. So this will work primarily well if you have indoor to outdoor photos. So if you're like a photo of looking out a window or there's a window present, or in this case here in an aquarium, there's quite a bit of light shining through. And what we can do here is just show, instead of just being a bit of a light here and then pointing, you can make it more dramatic by having a burst of light, rays of light coming down as if like something like from, from the kingdoms of heaven or something like that. So you can make it a lot more dramatic. You can also tone it down, but we'll show you exactly how to do this in this step right now. So first thing that we need to do is to duplicate the layer. So we're just going to go ahead and just drag it down here to the new paper icon here. So we have our background layer copy, and then what we want to do is go to image, adjustments, and levels. And by going to levels, what we want to do here is just exaggerate the amount of white to black contrast here. So we essentially want to have just show black will be, everything will remain the same, and white will be that burst of light. So we want to essentially render this image as a black to white image. And the way we do this with the levels is to just bring this slider here to the left, bring it all the way to the right, and as you can see, we are making the image a lot darker, but we're not actually bringing in too much of the whites here, right? So if we just bring it down here, we're making it essentially black and white, but there isn't that much of the white here, of the lights that we want to bring through. So we want to exaggerate that a bit more, and we do this by clicking on the middle of the sliders here. And as you drag it to the left, as you can see, we're expanding that amount of white light that's through. Now I've done this a little bit too much. I want to bring this more. So what I want to do is just bring the left slider a bit more down to the left, and then bring the middle slider to the left as well. And we want to just get a good balance of white to black. So just play around with this, and this will just depend a lot on the image that you have, right? So just selecting here. This will probably do here. So we have some elements here that we can erase, but we essentially have a lot of the white here that just will transform into the light. So that's the one thing you have to pay attention to, is whatever is white will transform into the light. So what we do now, just to correct this, is we're just going to use a brush tool here, a fairly big one. We're just going to go on black here, and what we're going to do is just paint in the parts that we do not want to modify here as black. So everything that we want to remain the same, the image to look the same, will be in black. So we're just going to go ahead and delete some areas here, and we'll just leave a bit of the finger there. That should be fine. Okay, so we have majority of the end goal of this is to actually just bring out that light, right? So this is what we're going to use as the light, just this part here. And now what we want to do is go to Filter, Blur, and Radial Blur. So we're going to add the effect of the light here. And as you can see, it'll probably be, when you open this up, Radial Blur by default, it'll be something similar to this. You're going to have, it's going to be on the spin and a low amount. So what we want to do here is change some settings. We want to set the amount to 100%. And the blur method, we want to change to zoom. Right, so we have that zoom. And now to create that ray of light will depend where that light is coming from. So for this image here, it's coming here from the top right. So that's exactly where we'll click here on the blur center and put that on the top right. And as you can see, we already have that illustration of that burst of light that we'll be creating for this image here. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And as you can see, we sort of created here our burst of light, as it were, right? Now I want to exaggerate this a bit more. I want to make it a lot more of a burst of light, right? Don't worry about the fact that you're still, you're on black, and it's, we're going to fix that. But at the moment, we just want to look at that burst of light. And what you can do here is just apply that filter again, so just exaggerate it more. So we're just going to go ahead and go to Filter, and the last filter you used will be of course, over here at the top, Radial Blur with the settings already. So we can just go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, that's exaggerated a bit more. I'm going to go ahead and do this one more time here. So there we are. So we have a really elongated and sort of exaggerated ray of light here. And now what we want to do is on our blend modes here, set the blend mode to lighten color. And as you can see here, we have a bit of a burst of light showing through the image. And depending on your image, this might be actually all right, but I want to bring more of this, exaggerate this more. And one technique to do this is to actually combine layers. So we're going to go ahead and just temporarily change our blend mode to screen. And then we're going to duplicate that layer. And then we're going to select the two layers and merge them. So merge layers here. And as you can see, we've made it a little bit more of an exaggerated burst of light here. There's a lot more of the white that's showing through. And now when we change that to lighten color, then as you can see, there's a lot more of that light shining through. So that's a good technique if you're not able to bring much of that, the burst of light that you want to. And the final step here that we're going to do is just do a bit of a cleanup. Sometimes the burst of light can actually get in the way of certain things and create weird effects. For example, here I'm not really liking the way that this is looking here. And also the fact that it's covering up too much of the finger here. It's looking a bit awkward. So I want to bring back a little bit of that finger. And the way that we do this is with the layer mask. So we're going to go ahead and click on the layer mask icon here. And now, as we've used this many times in the past, you'll remember that black erases, so it punches through, right? So we can see the finger here, for example, and then white just brings it back, right? So there we have it. Now what I want to do is, as you can see, it doesn't actually work too well when you just work with your brush at 100%, because you're bringing all of that image in. And what you want, since that, you still want that light to be shining through, but not obscuring completely the hand, is you want to change the opacity. So change the opacity to something low, like 20%, for example. And now with a bigger brush to cover the hand here, every time we swipe across here, we get a bit more of the hand showing through. So what I'm going to do here is just show a bit more of the hand here and a bit less down at the top. So I'm just sort of gradating it myself here to bring in some of the detail here. Now I'll just zoom out here. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that. Now we're just going to correct this bit here, which we can do safely with an opacity of 100%. And I'm just going to go ahead and actually paint in the image here, not the layer mask, but I'm going to paint in the image with white so that this part here becomes part of that white light. So there we are. So we fixed that little bit of here that wasn't actually making much of a sense. And there we are, the before and the after with that burst of a ray of light. If you enjoyed this video, show your support by subscribing, rating, and adding it to favorites. Leave comments on our website and we'll create even more videos that interest you.